some part in my free time, I'll try to find it. Okay.
Yeah, sorry I would have been on sooner, but apparently there was an update for Google or Skype or whatever it was.
Oh, that's fine. I had actually lost track of time, and I only called you like maybe 3 minutes ago. Like there was like a minute before the show.
My phone never. Oh, you mean Skype? Like my phone didn't ring, but yeah, you meant Skype.
Baldur's Gate 3 is made for D&D beginners. I'm not a beginner.
No, I mean we did a lot of coverage on Baldur's Gate when it first came out. We talked about it.
We're not talking about it more. I'm just curious.
And all that stuff. I'm just saying it wasn't that it was silent. It's just you've forgotten about it by now. Because I mean,
we talked about it, but I didn't realize it was out.
Yeah. We talked about that too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I forgot as well.
Well, I think I'm the only real big PC game player, so I was probably the only person that actually affected. So
True.
Whether or not I was going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was on console, I would have paid attention better.
It's coming up, but yeah, actually, when I pulled it up just on YouTube, while there was a couple of videos, most of the videos are 2 years old. So no, it didn't get a lot of interplay in between. It started popping up recently because of the we just talked about. But literally, it's 2 years, and then it was 5 days ago, and I'm like, wow, we weren't the only ones that forgot that game existed for that period of time. But you're not going to sell me on what they're advertising. You sell me on story and game, and I ain't seen nothing that caught me. I'm more interested in that D&D game. We were looking at the action RPG type, the kind of Diablo-esque one. You remember we covered that? You run around in that dungeon. It's that module. You remember that one? It looked Diablo-like. We were talking about it.
I mean, yeah.
It had the iconic characters. You played as the iconic. It's a Pathfinder. That's why it's not D&D. It's Pathfinder. The Pathfinder Diablo is that looks more interesting. Yeah, like that one. I was like, ooh, I can get into that.
Oh, the new Pathfinder game that came to console.
What? It's already out.
Hang on. What's it? I just bought one a couple months ago. I had
you're talking about that older Pathfinder.
What, Kingdom Come or whatever?
Kingmaker.
Kingmaker, yeah. No. There's a Diablo-esque. Huh?
No.
Okay, I'm listening. Is there another one? I played one that isn't Kingmaker. I wasn't a fan of Kingmaker, but if they had like Rise of Rune Lords, I'd love to play that one.
No, I play Kingmaker. Let's see. Wrath of the Righteous is the one that I haven't played yet, but I used my credits before they expired.
Huh. I don't know anything about that one. That one slid under the radar, and you said it's on console.
Back in September 2021.
Huh.
Yep.
Is it
DLC too?
Is it real time though, or is it a tactical?
Both. You can pause it if you need to.
That's okay. Is it an action RPG or is it closer to turn-based style?
It's closer to turn-based style.
Okay, that's what. The one we're talking about is a Diablo.
Stop.
The one we were talking about, we covered was a Diablo style. Yeah.
Think more like Knights of the Old Republic style.
That's an idea, I guess.
So like with KOTOR, you could pause it and then tell your people to do stuff. You can do the same thing with this, or you can let it fly.
Yeah, I guess. That sounds better than like Kingmaker, because Kingmaker was too turn based for me, man. It's a shame because I played the tabletop.
Yeah, because Kingmaker was
very turn based. Yeah.
Well, let me play it, and I'll tell you how it plays. How about that?
No, if you got it, yeah, let us know what you think. We can do it. We'll talk about it after you give it a go.
And it's a little not quite 2 years old. So.
Yeah, it's RTSE, maybe there's something to it. But the one we covered not too long ago was a Diablo, style game where you're actually controlling your character and stuff.
Anyway, let's get started, guys. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xeno, and I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype.
We got Bloodaxe.
All right. Oh, I completely lost energy as I started that, man. Like I just like.
I know.
Well, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. I mean, the biggest part of this section is probably going to be a certain topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, man, Mortis and Magus are close to my soul. I understand what Xenodamus is to you. The Xenodamus, the sorcerer, the mage. I feel you. I feel you.
We'll leave that for last.
That's where it belongs.
Let's talk about some rumors. What have you heard about this whole Disney Apple thing, Bloodaxe? I know you keep up with Disney.
That's been a rumor for a minute, but
yeah, but it seems like it's gotten some bite lately.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
mainstream.
It's growing legs because of the financial situation that Disney's in with their third quarter reports coming out. I've heard that basically everything's up for sale, whether it be Lucasfilm, Pixar, the parks. But I've heard Apple's been the most interested in some of the television content, Lucasfilm, Pixar, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I have been keeping an eye on it. But if there's something that has happened in the past couple of days, I haven't heard that.
I mean, they're saying that their projections are they're projecting an 800 million loss on their streaming,
Probably,
which is insane, and that Apple may be interested in the whole shebang now and not just.
I mean,
piecemealing here. So,
well, they have the money to do it.
They do. I, as not a huge fan. Oh, you know what? My mic's not on now. There we go. I was being picked up, I guess, on your mic.
so you really were having no energy left. They were just hearing you in the background.
All right, so no, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Apple, so I automatically cringe a bit on this because it definitely would give Apple some staying power in the streaming sphere. I mean, they have Apple TV, which is relatively popular from what I understand. I've never really dealt with it myself, but yeah, this would sort of solidify that and probably get it more mainstream.
Well, I mean, I don't have Apple TV either, but I'm familiar with it. I know there's some popular shows, but consolidating some of the content because they have not only they have the Disney content, they have National Geographic, they have the Lucasfilm stuff, the Marvel stuff, and then they have Hulu, plus the entire Fox library. So if they can consolidate that into one streaming service, then that's more dangerous from a monopoly standpoint than the whole Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft thing.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of content that's very popular all going to Apple, which is, a company that does a lot of the things right, but they do kind of skate the line a little bit on some of the things that trying to be politically correct here. They toe the line very well for right now. But they're one mistake from becoming a whole Bud Light fiasco.
So, I mean, what you're saying is if the FTC got involved in this one, they might actually have some legs to stand on, which finally the FTC has dropped everything on the whole Activision Microsoft thing. So
I read that happened like Friday, I think it was.
Yeah. But yeah. No, I could definitely see this creating, and even the person talking about this in this article saw that as well. When I was reading the article, they mentioned would create a powerhouse that could dominate the streaming wars, and it probably could. So it would be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, FTC only goes to bat for like foreign powers, so they're not going to stop this. They only go to bat for like Sony.
I mean, I know there's a certain amount of politics when it comes to some of the what do they call oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the name of the term. It's the ones that go to Washington and actually kind of advertise. I'm drawing a blank now. Anyway, but I know they have people that are kind of in the ears of those in power, and with enough contributions, there may be some swaying power, so to speak. Not saying that anything's illegal, but
what you're saying, we could have corruption in our government by big money industry.
No, I'm saying we do have corruption.
Is the word you're looking for lobbyists?
Yes, thank you. Q saved me again. Yeah, lobbyists that will basically,
Yeah,
for bad lack of
they
better
go in
term,
and they go like,
Robble. Lobbyists that lobby.
Yeah.
They get, you know what he's talking about. They basically represent the corpse and go get in their ear and go, hey, don't pass this, don't pass that.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust the FTC anymore after the whole last thing that they're going to even get involved in this, because this would be actually something they need to get involved in. And thus they're clearly not going to.
I don't know if they need to. I haven't done the numbers. I haven't done any
Apple's
investigation.
a big company,
I agree. But I also know I'm biased because I don't like Apple.
If Apple owned Disney, man, that'd be a bit alarming. That on multiple levels, that would be a really big powerhouse company.
I mean, Disney's already a huge powerhouse.
As someone that's currently on a Mac for the show that has multiple MacBooks and iPhones and other devices, I'm an Apple user, and I don't want this to happen. I don't think it's a good idea from a competitive standpoint in the market. Now, from a convenience standpoint, having basically some of your streaming services consolidated into one streaming platform, yeah, I'm all for that. But you're going back to the old cable model at that point.
I don't know, man.
Apple's not known for giving good rates on anything. They're freaking expensive. I feel like this would be
I don't want them to do it.
Yeah, this would be costly. Like Disney Plus would definitely be even. They'd want more money than even Disney's asking for. Like that would
you're
be.
You're probably talking $30-$40 a month. It would be just a wild guess.
Easy. But the good news is Disney doesn't have anything I want to watch. Yeah. So hey, there we go.
I mean, the other thing is it's like everybody's a giant now. I mean. You're using Apple. Well, I mean, we're using Microsoft and Microsoft Windows, giant. On my phone is Google, giant. I mean,
Amazon. Yeah, it's all out there.
So I mean, all this stuff. I mean, it's insane at this point, but
I want the streaming war to stay a streaming war so that I don't have to pay more, because I spend a lot of money on streaming. You spend way more than I do even on streaming, because, we got to have access to this stuff. And I don't want to see it get even higher. And I just know that Apple is never going to give you a better deal.
Could be
They're
worse.
Never going to give you a better deal.
Could be Sony.
Well, no, because then I don't have to watch
Sony
it anymore.
TV,
I'm done if Sony gets it.
Sony TV's been pimping out good products, so I wouldn't have a problem with Sony getting involved with it.
I will say
their gaming market
yeah.
I enjoyed Spider-Man. I've enjoyed the Spider-Man movies. Venom was okay. The second one I didn't care for.
The second one.
But I mean, yeah. Anyway,
so Venom 2 felt like a spoof of
Venom 1. Huh?
The second Spider-Verse was bad?
No. It said Venom 2. Venom, the second Venom movie.
Oh, the Carnage.
Venom 2 felt like a spoof of Venom 1, which itself felt like a spoof of Venom. So that's bad. It's like the spoof of a spoof.
Yeah. I don't take Venom seriously. I enjoy it for what it is, and because one of my sons, who's a huge Spider-Man buff, really likes Venom. So I will enjoy it with him, but I don't take it as canon because I've read the comics, I read the Maximum Carnage series, I've read the Lethal Protector series. I know what Venom is and isn't, and that's not Venom. That's not the Venom storyline. So I enjoy it just for what it is.
Speaking of not being,
there you go.
You know what I was going. Speaking of not being the comic.
Yeah, it's not canon Venom. So I enjoy it for the special effects and for Tom Hardy, and that's basically it.
So new Watchmen movie is happening. Officially announced.
Because he remembers the series they did that was so terrible.
Look. The movie
was good.
The first Watchmen movie though bombed. It bombed.
Oh, I liked it.
It did not do well in theaters. Nobody knew what it was except for a small few, and it became a sort of a bit of a cult classic after the fact. But the original theater release of Watchmen did not do well. And
HBO. Yeah, but even after I watched it, I wouldn't watch the second one. I didn't care for it.
Yeah. So anyway, so after that, they did the TV series, which the TV series was, in my opinion, horrendous. And they destroyed a lot of the series. So now they're going to do a new Watchmen movie. Now it's going to be animated. Now, and that to me is the only saving grace because DC still does decent animated movies.
They do.
I've watched several of the newer animations that DC has done, and they've been really good. So now, why? That's a good question. You know, I know that's what you asked. You were like, well, they did it really good live action. Why bother animating it? But, you know.
Well, I've just never seen it go in that direction. Usually the challenge for superhero is doing the live action. Like, animated's not hard. And the thing is, with the great acting, the excellent cinematography, I liked The Watchmen. I thought each one of the characters was very distinct, jumped off the screen. I don't know how I'm going to get more into the animated version, especially because Watchmen isn't DC superhero traditional. It isn't a clean, It is a very gritty, realistic, more down to earth in many ways, despite Dr. Manhattan being really powerful. Like, the characters are very human. And I don't know how the animated characters are going to do better than the really good live acting performance. I feel like it's going to be less involved and more anime cartoony.
I don't know. I mean, the movie, I mean, if you look at the graphic novel versus the movie, it's definitely not the same. You can get closer to the graphic novel with an animated series. And if that's what they want to do, I think that'd be really cool.
I don't trust DC.
I get not trusting DC. I don't either. You know, when I first saw this, I immediately was like, no. And then I saw it was animated and it didn't bother me.
That might save it because that last series they did was a travesty. That's why Bloodaxe made that face. I know he was remembering we covered it. The Watchmen series, not the movie, the series was. I can't even say. Like that's how controversially bad it was and what they decided to do with it. I can't not get political and describe anything that they did in that series because that's all the series was very specific politics. And here's my thing. Whether you like or don't like the politics, they weren't the politics of the graphic novel or the movie. They were somebody going fanfic. It felt like fanfic. It felt very fanfic what was being done. And I'm hoping the animated movie is not going to be made for a modern audience. That's my fear. Or series. That's my fear.
I will say two things about the Watchmen animated series. Number one, I agree with Zeno that DC has historically done extraordinarily well with their animated content. Number two,
I love Young Justice.
I have zero interest in watching another Watchmen content series at all. So if it's one of these things that you guys pick up and say, hey, Bloodaxe, you need to check this out, I might look at it at that point. But it's not really lighting up on my radar as something I have to watch.
I mean, I'll probably check it out just to see if it resonates with the original novel.
Yeah, you know the most about Watchmen because you have more experience with the original novel.
Yeah, and if it resonates well with the original graphic novel, then it will be an awesome watch. If they're doing their own thing, then...
My thing is that I did not know about the graphic novel before I saw the movie. I became familiar with it after the movie, and I liked the movie. And to me, that's a success story when I can go, that was an interesting movie. That was an interesting story points they went on. And then going, oh, there's this graphic novel for it. That's good because it's rare that you can make a movie about such a niche group.
The movie ended up selling the graphic novel. I remember after the movie came out, even though it didn't do well at first, after it caught some, which I think it actually caught most of it after it got to on sale, where you could watch it outside of the theater. Mm-hmm. But then I saw, the full collection graphic novel, as a big book,
I remember
all over the place. So
it started a lot of interest. The last thing to say on that is that when we were looking at that, we also were seeing some of the other. Come on, I wasn't gonna let that slide. Some of the other stuff they had going, and man, I mean, you want to talk about a lineup that didn't tickle my fancy? They brought up some of the other stuff that's coming up, which is Superman Legacy, Waller, Swamp Thing, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and The Brave and the Bold. And I literally looked at Zeno and said, is it sad that as a guy who used to watch all the DC cartoons, that I looked at that lineup and I could barely get, oh, that's why does he just look like a straight up skinhead? Oh, God. And there you go. Like, and I can't even drum up interest for anything they're doing. I literally can't. Like, it's hard for me to want to see anything DC's putting out. Like, Waller doesn't need her own series. I don't want to see a series about her. Swamp Thing, I used to watch the Swamp Thing. I've watched the Swamp Thing live action movies back in the day and the cartoon. Don't want to see whatever they got going on now. Like, not interested. Supergirl, The Woman of Tomorrow, they've done so much weird crap with Supergirl. They just had a series get canceled. Literally. They did the freaking Flash movie where they brought in that Supergirl that nobody even knew who the heck that was. And I had to dig to find out that it was a one-off weird character that no one liked, that for some reason they decided to put that one in their mainstream movie. I just don't believe DC is going to put out anything good. And yeah, that is unfair for Watchmen, but they've been striking out over and over and over and over and over, especially with series. Like, they've screwed up Supergirl over and over. They screwed up Superman in his comic books recently a lot lately. I've had enough Waller, dude. We did Suicide Squad. We did Peacekeeper. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't need any more Waller. She's interesting, but she's also a very unlikable character. She's interesting to see as a villain. I don't think I want to see a whole series of the heifer. Swamp Thing, most people don't know who that is. It's us. We know who Swamp Thing is, huh?
Oh yeah, no, I love Swamp Thing back in the day because the first movie was so bad it was great, and then but the second one was
they got much worse. Well, the thing is, look at us. Look at how old we are, and we're calling Swamp Thing back in the day. So that's not really relevant. Going to be relevant to the new generation if we're thinking of it as a back in the day character.
Well, the Swamp Thing also wasn't anything like the comic Swamp Thing either.
No. Fair enough.
I'm sure animation will be a lot closer to the comic.
Hope so. But who's reading the comic? The comics haven't been.
Oh, the comic's never been. I mean, the biggest.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a comic. So,
then the Brave and the Bold is a Batman team up where he's got a new superhero partner, and I like dark gritty Batman. I don't like oh, now it's Batman hanging out with the Flash, and now he's hanging out with Green Lantern, and oh, look at that, he's hanging out with Plastic Man. Because I watched the cartoon. Yeah, I watched cartoons. I watched the cartoon, and it was very lighthearted. And I get it. Maybe there's an audience for it, except that, guess what? The Batman Brave and Bold cartoon got canceled. So why do they keep making series off of stuff that's already been... Supergirl got canceled. Batman Brave and the Bold got canceled. What are they doing coming out with stuff that's
I'm with you. I prefer the old detective Batman. Yeah, that's always been my... that solo. But anyway, that's all we got for TV. Let's move into some video game stuff. Let's talk about what we may be doing this evening.
We've all bought it today. Yeah, we've all got a copy of Remnant 2.
So Remnant 2, if you pre-ordered it, I know at least I did the Ultimate Edition. I don't know if you have to have the Ultimate Edition. But if you have the Ultimate Edition, I know you get it a few days early. And so it is playable now. They say Remnant 2 is so big that even players who have played over 400 plus hours have
not even obtained everything.
Seen or obtained everything. So I mean that's like what Baldur's Gate 3 is claiming, like 300, 400 hours of gameplay.
Lots of don't get me started. You're just trying to.
But this is more of an action thing. So
yes,
you don't normally see that.
Oh, there's action in Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot of action for what they're saying. you starting it?
All right. Anyway, so we're gonna check this out actually this evening. So,
well, the reason they're saying that is because what's cool is that when you go into the world, because you're supposed to keep going and doing these forays, it actually is. It randomizes. There's events that can happen that are unique. And I've actually heard one guy say that he played 2 characters, and he said he saw events with one character he didn't see with the other character. Okay. To the point that it's felt like 2 different places.
Yeah, so similar to Skyrim and Fallout, or especially Skyrim. Skyrim had a lot of things that would happen sometimes. That
It has a lot of. So you may go to a world
procedural events and stuff.
Yeah, so you may go to a world and it's the Blood Moon event, and now there's a moon in the sky and there's spirits. Apparently, that's how you try to find a necromancer class. And I was just like, what? You could go to a world and there's a whole event happening that wasn't happening. You might go to another world and there's a storm. And now it's frozen and there's ice enemies. And you can get yourself a ice pick of eye stabbing. I don't know. But you get my point is, that does make it cool because we do a lot of games where we farm. And we go out. Borderlands, Wonderlands,
but they
Diablo.
They found a unique way to create replayability.
Yeah, and the idea that you can beat a boss you've never
as a
seen.
player will put in probably 4 times the amount of hours that I have just to be able to get some of these extra classes or some of these extra abilities. And I just get lucky and I can get it on the first playthrough.
Yeah, you will. Fuck you. Anyway, Bloodaxe is the luckiest us, man. He was playing Diablo with us one day, and literally he just got a legendary at like level 20. Like the lowest level I'd ever seen a legendary appear. He just like, hey, look, I found a legendary. And me and Zeno were like, what? Like,
it was
world tier 2.
Level 18, actually, but...
And
we were playing through to finish it, and then I dropped like 3 legendaries. I'm like, 3 legendaries, great. And you guys like, screw you.
Yeah, this dude's walking around with legendaries at level 18.
I will say, though, hell, dude, I got a sacred...
he did it. I'm still at the bottom tier,
I got
man.
a sacred unique in the first 5 minutes of us being in World Tier 3.
Whereas I went and opened a Helltide chest and got all blues. That really happened.
Yeah. But no, Remnant 2 looks like it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to checking it out and playing with you guys. It's generally available July 15th, so that'll be
25th.
Tuesday. 25th, sorry. So that'd be Tuesday.
But if you pre-ordered it, then you could get it, or at least you get the ultimate, you could be playing it yesterday. That's when we saw that, we all started snapping it up and went like, oh, wait, we could be playing this instead of Segway?
Oh, well, I had other things
to
talk
what you got for
first.
a
No, it's so another side note of things that are happening that if you have a Ubisoft account and you have games on that Ubisoft account, be sure to log in to that Ubisoft account. Because apparently Ubisoft has been permanently deleting inactive accounts, which means if you bought any of their games and tied them to an account, you will lose access to that game.
No. You mean you'll lose like your save, right? The little save they save.
No.
Like your character won't be there. You'll have to start over.
You will lose the key that grants you permission to install that game.
But I paid for it.
But you didn't play it recently.
It doesn't matter. I bought it. It's my damn game.
Most of these online systems do not ever delete an account permanently.
I've loaded up Dragon Age
but
like years later, and my character was still there.
Yes. But apparently Ubisoft decided it wanted to free up some hard drive space.
I mean, not only did I still have the game, I still had my character. Like, it isn't saved on my Xbox. I can go log in and play Dragon Age Inquisition, and there's a mage on there. You know what I'm saying? Got me a little arcane mage ready to go. They take your game just because you didn't show them enough attention?
If you manage to, utilize an email address that you do manage to check at least every 30 days, you'll get an email 30 days before they delete your account.
Wow. They delete your account and take back their games. Well, you know what? I got to quote Stephanie Sterling on it. Oh, Ubisoft. Like, are you serious? Like, wow. Ubisoft just is terrible on customer service. There's no other company I know of that's done this that's at least that big. That is crazy. Like, oh my God, I am just stunned by the idea. So yeah, if you screwed up and forgot about your Ubisoft account for a period, now I don't know how long it takes, but still, they shouldn't be able to take back your purchases. That's stunning that they can take back your purchase. I'm getting tongue-tied on this, man. Your purchases. Dude, Bloodaxe, man, how much would you flip out if Ubisoft said, yeah, we deleted your account, you don't own these games anymore?
That's why I like physical copies of my games. I mean, it's because of stuff like this. Because at any point, they can say, yeah, we're done. And you can't play that game anymore.
Well, and Michael in the chat room actually brings up a good point. Is I know UK has several data protection laws that this may actually affect. So I don't know if this is only a US thing or not. I mean, we also have some protections, but disclaimers and be sure to read this gets around a lot of those. And I mean, most of the services actually do say you don't own these titles. Excuse me. So
you don't have to just log in. You have to log in and select cancel account closure located in the email. So you have to actually log in and tell them to not cancel your account. So, I
mean, I love the way this is worded. We certainly do not want you to lose access to your games or account. This almost sounds like, okay, here's my problem with this. And it says selecting the cancel account closure link contained in the email. Now, this is a red flag because you should never click links inside of an email. So if you have to use the link in the email,
a lot of people might have thought that this was fake and that it was a scam to get you to click the link. What's worse is you also don't know how long you have before it triggers. So you don't know when this is going to happen. You have to just be paying attention, or you apparently better be active on your dang Ubisoft account.
It apparently came from the official Ubisoft support Twitter account that they're telling you to be sure to click that link. That is asking for people to start scamming.
That is asking for people to send fake Ubisoft email.
Oh, that's dangerous.
That's bad.
That is real dangerous. That is the stupidest
I'll
thing
put it
I've
like
seen.
this. If we weren't looking at this on an official site, I would not trust this link. If my thing came up and said, click this link or we're going to cancel your account, that sounds like a scam. Click this or you're going to lose your games.
Sounds like phishing to me, yeah.
That sounds fishy. Ooh, and what I don't like is also they don't tell you how long it takes for this to happen, so you don't know. So you better be looking. What if this gets sent to your spam? What if it gets sent to your spam? Some spam things might catch this email because it's got a link in it. Your security can catch it because it's got a link.
Dude, this is just a good way to get some kind of ransomware on your account or something, man. Like, I'm logged into my account, then I go and click this link.
That
just sounds like I'm giving some third party my account information, and they're trying to scam me. Well, I would not do this. I wouldn't do this.
Honestly, I'm not even sure if I trust it now, even though it's being covered on this site. Because here's the thing. Like Michael's saying in the chat, there are some countries that have laws that say you can't do that.
And that news site that was reporting that was a UK site. Here is the official check-marked Ubisoft support. So
what's crazy about this, though, is that is definitely going to fall into some laws. Like, I firmly believe that there's several countries that say, like, you can't do that. Because when they started doing the digital copies of stuff, it was a big stink about, well, what happens if you decide to, like, turn off the server?
Even beyond that, the cancel account closure link contained in the email is my biggest problem with this.
Why doesn't it cancel it just because you logged in? Like, when if it's doing a timer, that if you logged in, it should cancel the cancellation because you logged in. This is saying, you got to tell us to not take your games.
And you got to do it through the most insecure method possible.
Bitch. I mean, that's just what that is. Like, just wow.
Like, we might as well just say, hey, I'm a prince in...
Yeah, hey, I want to send you some money. Click this link,
some money.
and we'll make sure you don't lose your Ubisoft account.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I see why you want to talk about that. Ubisoft is so stupid. Wow, that is the dumbest thing I've seen since the Diablo nerfs. Oh, man.
All right. You're ready. Let's talk about Diablo 4. Everybody knows, or if you don't know, the season came out this past week. And, wow, a big patch was released 2 days before the season, and it nerfed so much. And I don't like saying nerf.
He hates me complaining about Diablo.
And complaining, because they lowered the power of this. But I'll be honest, even after reading it, seeing the numbers, I was like, well, maybe there's a plan. Maybe there's something we're missing, But then the campfire chat came out. Now, this made me lose any slight remaining faith I have in Blizzard.
You still had faith.
At all.
He was a believer.
Now, at this campfire chat, here's their excuse for the massive amount of nerfs. The excuse is that there were supposed to be buffs and other changes, and the world tiers were supposed to go down in power and all this stuff, but they didn't finish that part, so they had to postpone that. And
but they had the nerfs ready.
Yeah, the nerfs were ready, though, so they just said, well, we'll go ahead and roll out the nerfs, and the other stuff would come later.
Yeah, the buffs are coming.
And this was their literal excuse. Their literal excuse was basically, oopsie, we forgot to add part of the patch, or we forgot that by removing this part of the patch, it made the rest of the patch a big nerf.
You can do it. I've already used mine, but you still have your F-bomb. You heard it. You heard you tripped over that curse word, man.
And here's the thing. They weren't really that apologetic about it either. They were just like, don't you have phones? We'll do better. They didn't go, yeah, man, we were really, I don't know why we didn't think they made it out to be, well, this is just the way software development happens. Things, sometimes things get out of line and it causes, because we got to do this. We need to do this. We really have to do this. And it just can't, and just the way it is, it's not going to happen all at once. But, some other things were supposed to be in this that was not supposed to. So, and we understand. We gave you some other stuff, though, that if you're playing season, to sort of balance it out.
Which is what I called.
Which we know that really screws the Eternal players, and, they probably don't even know this thing's going on, because that tends to be where the casual players are, who don't keep up with all the news. And, we're
dude,
doing,
because if you didn't make a new character, and you just kept loading up your character as usual, you don't know about the Millennium Season. You just skip the screens and go load my character.
Real life story here.
Oh, yeah, this is wild. Listen to this Bloodaxe. This is good.
So, on the 19th, the day after the patch was released, a friend of mine who I used to work with was wanting to hang out and have a couple of drinks. So I was like, yeah, man, we'll have a couple of drinks after work. I went and I met him at an establishment to have some drinks. And I asked him, I was like, hey, man, I know he's casual. He's an older gentleman. He's got a wife. He doesn't play games constantly. But he's been playing Diablo 4 here and there. I was like, how's Diablo 4 going, man? He's like, man, yeah, I played for a while. He's like, man, but I got on recently, and I don't know what's up, man. I just keep dying. I'm not doing any damage. And he's like, I don't know, dude. I guess I'm just, I don't, maybe I'm not cut out for the game. And I was just like, oh.
No, he also said he said he thought he forgot it. Maybe I forgot how to play.
Yeah,
the
maybe
game.
he forgot how to play. You know, I mean, just normal. You know, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, oh yeah, man, there was a big patch that apparently screwed everybody over. And he was like,
Why?
why? Yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, because of seasons. He's like, what seasons? And I was like, oh, seasons, the thing where all the people go and they start over. And he's like, why would you do that? I don't have time to play
Play the normal game.
a normal game. And it's just like, yeah, dude, you got screwed over. They'll fix it eventually. You know,
Eventually.
I'm a Diablo player, so I am sort of used to the I'm not gonna play for a little bit, you know.
But in real life, he had me die when he told me that story. That like he actually ran into a casual player. It's like, I don't know what's going on, man. The game, I'm just dying. I don't know what happened. It's like, oh, see, what it is screw you. That would have been a way more to the point. What do you mean screw you? Do you know what seasons are? No, screw you. That's the answer to that. Do you play seasons? No, screw you.
But yeah, because he had actually sat down. He said, man, about last week I sat down, I actually went through and read through the skills and sort of created a build I was comfortable with and I really liked, and now it's just not working, and I'm just like, yeah, man, that sucks. That sucks for you. But anyway, it's the incompetence of going, oh, well, this part wasn't able to be released. And you didn't think to look at the other part that you were releasing and go, is this any of this require this part? Like, I mean, and we all know if you want, I work in software development. So, these are questions that should be asked is, if I don't get this out, is this going to affect anything else that is in the pipeline to be released? And if it does, then you have to do what's called rollbacks, and you have to roll back anything that it would affect. In this case, the best option would have just been to hold back.
Patch.
Yeah, delay the release.
Well, it's like, to give it in layman's terms, somebody's coming to your house and going, hey, we're going to put in anything you really install, but let's say new internet. We're going to make your internet faster. We'll put a new internet. Then they show up and they go, you know what? We don't have the new internet stuff. We're going to go ahead and unhook your internet. And then when we get the new internet stuff in, we'll come hook up the new stuff.
We're gonna run new wires. Now the wires aren't compatible with your old modem.
Yeah.
And we don't have the new modem, so you're just gonna be out of internet for a while.
Now, and then they leave, and you're just like, wait, I don't have internet. And no, we're gonna fix what? Why did you do?
We'll fix it. So then, so the next thing is they did say, well, Friday we'll have next Friday, this coming up Friday, they'll have another talk. And they wouldn't.
I don't need another talk. I need a patch.
Yeah. Well, their whole new commitment is before they release patches in the future, they're going to talk about them. They're going to try to be a little more transparent on future patches, including the one that's going to fix this.
I'd rather they just roll that one out, personally. Okay, now you choose to do this?
Now, supposedly, that patch is supposed to come out. Everybody's guessing it'll come out Tuesday after this talk. They implied that it would come out Tuesday, but they wouldn't say it because they were scared to say that it would come out Tuesday.
And it not come out.
Well, wait a minute. If they're trying to be more transparent, then why didn't during this campfire talk they tell us what's coming out in that patch?
Well, they mentioned some of it. Some of it was lowering the hit points
dungeon.
and how dangerous some of the creatures are, while instead increasing density so that leveling is faster. That's one of the reasons why they had lowered XP values.
The decreases for nightmare dungeons, though.
Yeah, the decreases for nightmare dungeons.
Nightmare dungeons.
The reason that the XP values were lowered was because, we were going to do higher density. They're also going to do higher density in Hell Tides. So that was supposed to be where you get it back. And
XP back, not damage, tankability, sorcerer.
Well, I mean, general. So your overworld, they lowered the levels of the creature. I mean, the overworld's not difficult. I mean, we all know that.
We've been doing okay on overworld.
And so it's mostly the tweaking. They're tweaking a lot of how deadly the dungeons are and stuff. I don't know. I mean, the numbers aren't there, and exactly how they're going to do it aren't there. They're supposed to talk about it Friday.
But they might roll it out Tuesday.
They might roll it out Tuesday.
So
they didn't say they might.
They
didn't say they might roll it out Tuesday.
They better roll it out by Tuesday.
But they kept
Remnant
implying that it would possibly be Tuesday. But yeah,
let's ask the magic question now. But how does the sorcerer feel?
Don't do that to him.
It's not his fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. They're going to buff it eventually. They said that. That was in the campfire. We're going to buff the sorcerer. How? When? It's going to happen, though.
I didn't see where they said they were going to buff the sorcerer in particular.
Come on, I'm trying to give you something, man.
I sent y'all a video from Riker, who I follow on YouTube, because he has some really good builds and a lot of Diablo knowledge. And out of the top 10, none of them were sorcerer. Not a single one was sorcerer build in the top 10.
Nope. Bone Spear, Necro, and Druids.
Yeah.
So chuck your spears, Druid, but Necros, that's your only choice. Spear. But no, man, it's Diablo 4 did an interesting thing in that I've never seen somebody have so much hype. Season 1 was so hype, and then just completely dropped off the map.
I mean, I will say, Season 1, this is your leader, your 100 board. Now, first you have your Bone Spear, Necro. Then you have the Druid, Hurricane, Tornado, Bloodhowl.
Probably Werewolf.
Then second, you have another.
The same freaking build, except for the exact same
build. They just have them in different slots.
Then Bone Spear.
Now we'll say. Then you have Sorcerer.
Oh, y'all managed to get in there. Look at that.
And every one of them is one of these ice builds with the newly introduced throwing Firebolt in there to take advantage of the.
Oh, yeah, you got plenty, man. Yeah, look at that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they are the same thing. Wow. There is one sorcerer build. Well, no, wait. Number 5 does not have that arrow icon thing. Aha.
Yeah.
One dude managed to get there without that.
And whether or not this is, I don't know where they're pulling this data from, so I don't know.
Actually, how do we know they didn't use that build to get to 100 and switch? I just thought about that. Could also be he was using it all the way up to there.
There's 2 ice builds. So there's the ice shards build, and then there's the really stupid, weird blizzard build. And that seems... And all they did was take what was already this 2 stupid ice builds and add Firebolt to them.
Hey, look, 11, he managed to change up the Bone Spear a little bit. He has Bone Wall in there.
Oh,
but
look at
it's
that.
also still Bone Spear.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you look at Necromancer, you've almost got you've got 19 level 100.
Oh, my God, it is all Bone Spear.
And, it is all Bone Spear.
Oh, wait. One dude had undead. I saw it. No, that's a golem. One guy had a golem. I think. So there you go, man. This.
Yeah. Sorcerer, you have much fewer level 100s. You have only 10, and they're all ice. There's no. I want to build around Frost Sword, but nobody uses Frost Sword.
I don't want to use Bone Spear. Speak to the choir, buddy.
Yeah. Now, Barbarian actually has the least.
Oh, yeah. Barb's down there, man. They said Druid and Rogue are really high for the season right now.
Druid is maxed out, like all 25. Or Rogue. Rogue is maxed out, all 25. So, yeah, Rogue is definitely. Yeah. And Druid is not.
Well, got a good bit, though. 18.
Yeah. It's got about 19, the same as Necro. Yep. So it seems like the Rogue is the real.
But go back to Druid. Here's what I liked though when I saw Druid though. Jump on the Druid page. Y'all can see it. I see some variance.
I do see some variance,
because I see different color. I can just off the top, I can see people are doing different stuff.
Most of them are using this build here, that whatever that is.
Look at 22. He's all different. Like he's doing something completely different. Yeah. You just don't see that variety on the sorcerer and the necromancer.
What about the rogue? Oh god, the rogue's pretty uniform.
Rogue's pretty uniform. Yeah. But it's barely working.
Wow,
there's a little
that is massive. Yeah.
Well, I see 4 abilities that are on everything. No, 5 abilities. 5 abilities on 4. No, 4. 4 abilities. Nope. Yeah, 4 abilities on every build. I can see 4 that everybody's running those 4.
Yeah.
But then there's a variance on the last 2. But like Necro and Sorcerer, man, are very uniform. I'd like to see a little more variety there, but. That's okay.
And that was one of their big talking points at the campfire, was to try to create more variety. They're not doing it, but they're trying, they say.
But I think that we can all, or the Bloodaxe, to get your input in, and I'm going to put the final, what I think our final opinions got to be. What you got, Blood?
Well, you've seen how much I've played, which is... like maybe 45 minutes with you guys. Was that Friday?
Mm-hmm. You went AFK.
Well, that's because the missus wanted some attention, so the missus got some attention. You know how that goes. For some reason, Diablo 4 I haven't gotten into it yet, and I've loved all the other Diablo games. I played the crap out of all 3 of the first 3, but this one, I guess because Diablo's not the final boss, spoiler alert, he's barely mentioned through the whole game. It's hard for me to really invest myself into it. And I'm not super excited about it until they fix some of these things. Because between talking to you guys and there's some people follow on YouTube and they're down on it too, so it's not just some things that we've noticed, but the community as a whole has been like, well, this kind of sucks. Until they fix it to where it's fun and playable, I'll probably be divested until that happens. Now, once they fix it, because you remember, I loved playing the seasons. I drug you through a couple of seasons in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
But for this one, and the fact that I haven't found sets of armor or of equipment that enhance your character, and that was one of the great things about Diablo 3 seasons is you were guaranteed to get that set, so you were forced to change your optimal build based on what the season set was. We're not getting that in Diablo 4.
Yeah, you get some
the things
stuff.
The things that invested in me are not present in this game.
Yeah, instead of sets now you get
uniques.
Well, not uniques. You get the thing you put on the legendaries, the
sanctified stuff.
Aspects,
unique.
Yeah. You get aspects. So for each level of the chapter you go through, completing the objectives, you get new aspects. You get seasonal aspects, and that's what they're basically is their set. It's aspects.
Problem is, aspects still mineral though. So
well, yeah.
I still prefer the Diablo 3 style, Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 style.
I like.
Well, no, and I get that, and I will say, I remember when Diablo 3 came out. It was not the game it is today. It was a far cry from it, and there was a lot of outcry about balance and difficulty and all that when Diablo 3 came out. So,
yeah, but it's supposed to get better though. And that's the thing. You're supposed to improve your formula so that you don't start off at square one every time you do a game. You're not supposed to go, all right, Diablo 1 we're figured out, Diablo 2 we're figured out, Diablo 3 we're figured out, Diablo 4 we're figured out, Diablo 5 we're figured out, Diablo 6. You can't keep having a game that everybody goes, give them a year. Because you know what's going to eventually happen? Everybody's not going to buy it until it's been out for a year. Yeah. Which then is going to make them not make the game.
Well, honestly, they made their money already, though. They made like 6.
No, they did. But
they made a lot of money off of it.
But it's going to start to wear thin because eventually people are going to get tired of buying a game that does not work at release.
So, anyway, if you're looking at playing a season, if you don't want the extra difficulty of all the nerfs. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
That's the end. Or season 2. That's the thing. The game can be picked up later.
I was talking to Q about is I may just wait for season 2 to come out to see how they change it, because you're going to lose your character at the end of the season anyway.
I mean, Remnant 2 is out.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that we can play, and I know with the specific requirements in order to get the summoner class that Q's interested in, he's going to be playing this thing like a madman. And my character that we have been discussing, that's my play style, you start off with half of it, then you go find this one thing to get the other half, and boom, I'm ready to rock and roll. While he's still trying to get, the special blood moon to come and then paint his house and rotate his tires a certain way. And
is it a blood moon tonight?
Well, we're going to wrap up here. We're going to answer a question in the chat room first. Question from Michael says, I'm curious, one-word answer of your favorite genre game. Bloodaxe, start with you.
Oh, my favorite genre. It's so easy to say RPG, but lately, looter shooter actually has been the one that I've been going to the most, is looter shooter.
Q?
Action RPG. I know it's one word, but it's it's a specific type. Because looter shooter is the full name. Action RPG.
Yeah. And I will say mine is specific, similar to his with action RPG, but probably I prefer fantasy action RPG specifically. Like any Skyrim games are my favorite games. That genre there. So yeah.
I mean,
I would say more, but you said one word.
And how much did we play Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, and now we'll be playing Remnant, which is also another looter shooter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the ones I go to with my friends. Now, if I'm playing solo, I like survival. But I guess it depends on is it by myself or with my friends.
Yeah.
That's why I said action RPG, because a lot of looter shooters are action RPGs,
mm-hmm.
and I don't like looter shooters that aren't action RPGs. I do like action RPGs that are looter shooters, which is why I said action RPG, because we've touched upon a few games that are looter shooters that weren't action RPGs also. I didn't like them.
And I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, where that's my favorite. I mean, I think all of us have a pretty wide variety of things. Like my second favorite is so far separated from that. I love strategy 4X games. Like your space sim or civilization type games. I will sit and play thousands of hours of those games.
Oh yeah, Civ is great. Yeah, I started with the first one and been playing all the way through, and I still play the sixth one.
And where I probably actually put more time into that than I do the action RPG, but that's just because we don't get a lot of good action RPGs.
Yeah, and then I get into I move from action RPGs into shooters, and then weirdly enough, like retro. Like I'll go pick up a nice retro RPG or game out of nowhere, and of course beat 'em ups. But when it comes down to the most satisfaction, most time spent, give me a good action RPG, man, and it will soak up hours. Yeah. And then after that, like I said, looter shooters. But when I can get the fusion, love it when I can get a looter shooter and an action RPG.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up this week. So thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com, where you can find links everywhere we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and as every week,
we hope you enjoy.